Novidades, the Islands and the Diaspora, a free community outreach program. It is funded in part by the Luso-American Development Foundation, that is FLAD. FLAD has been a part of PBBI at Fresno State since its inception. It was thanks to the Luso-American Foundation, the Luso-American Development Foundation, FLAD in Lisbon, Portugal, that we got a grant in order to begin all of this that we do now at Fresno State when it comes to the Portuguese American Oral History Project, when it comes to the Portuguese American Speaker and Conference Series, when it comes to Bruma Publications, the Cátedra Natália Correia, the Cagarro Colloquium, a community of Azorian writers or writers in North America of Azorian ancestry. When it comes to many others, the Azores Diaspora Media Alliance that we have put forth through PBBI, also at Fresno State. So an amalgam of things, as you all have seen. Some of you are probably tired of seeing him, but I believe as long as we can talk and reflect and actually think about our community and the places we all want to share our community and where we want the community to go from here. We've been in California for over 150 years. Azorians have been here for a very long time. And I believe when I mean Azorians, it's mostly Azorians, but we've also had folks from mainland Portugal and many also from Madeira, the archipelago of Madeira. So all of those who are of Portuguese ancestry, the majority, of course, Azorians, have been here for a long time. But things are changing. The communities are very different than what they were 25, 30, 40 years ago. And I believe they will be very different in 25, 30, and 40 years from now as well. And so we're trying to create these different platforms that give the information and a connection. Part of our reason, our vision, and mission at Fresno State is basically to have a continuum as far as a connection between the Valley especially, but all of California, all of the western part of the United States, and anywhere that technology can take us. But certainly our focus is on the Valley in California first, and then the whole western part of the United States, and then, of course, the entire nation and even the continent itself and other parts of the world. But our one of our major pieces of why we exist is for this ongoing connection besides the things that are being done in the Portuguese American community. And there we are known for our festas, we are known for our celebrations, we are known for our parties, and Lord knows we have quite a few of them throughout the state of California as we come to the streets and we celebrate, whether it be a patron saint, whether it be the Holy Ghost that has unified Azorians for centuries. It is all a part of who we are in a multicultural state, of course, who we are at the same time that we respect all the others that are different than what we are. At Novidades, the islands and the diaspora, we try to bring you the Azores today. So I know that today, of course, is also different than 25, 30, and 40 years ago when people didn't travel as much as they travel today. Today, folks go to the Azores. Many people go once a year. Many people go once every 2 or 3 years. The early immigration that came, especially after the Capelinhos volcano in the late 1950s, the immigration that came through the Family Reunification Act, obviously in the mid to late 60s and early 70s, that immigration didn't have the luxury, especially the first few years, to go to the Azores a year after they were here, or 2 or 3. Some did. My family, we were lucky enough to go 4 years after we were here, but many stayed. Many didn't go back for 10, 15, 20, and even some as long as 20 or 25 or 30 years. And the immigration that came prior to the volcano of Capelinhos, prior to the late 50s and early 60s, many of them never returned to the Azores, or many of them went there only once or twice after leaving the Azores at the age of 18 or 19, and in their lifetime, maybe they went there once or twice. Travel has changed immensely in the last 25 to 30 years, especially, and today many Azorians go back to the place where they were born, or their parents or their grandparents. Many go there quite often. Many go there every couple of years. Many go there every 4 or 5 years. But it is one thing to visit a land. It is one thing to be a tourist. It is whether you're a week-long or a month-long tourist. It is one thing to be a tourist in one country. It is another thing to be there on a constant basis, to read their newspapers, to talk to people, to listen to the different conferences and presentations that are made, and to have the Azores present in your life, obviously. And so, what we try to do with Novidades, the Islands, and the Diaspora, as I said, it is a free community outreach program. It is partly funded by FLAD, and I say partly because we also offer sponsorships to other organizations. The Luso Financial is our sole partner right now, and we thank Luso Financial for their support. We are open to having other partnerships. Obviously, it will all be separated, not one more than one per news item, but we are thankful again to Luso Financial for all their support. And so what we do is we take a story, and here's one about mussels in the Azores, for example. We take a story from the Azorean Press. So in this case, this story came from Correio dos Açores. The director is our good friend Natalino Viveiros, and we translated through our services at California State University, Fresno, and the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute. This one here, for example, had, of course, the support of the Luso Financial and a little bit of information about them. We hope that all of the folks who follow Novidades can also take advantage of some of these services that are offered in our community, and of course patronize the folks who are helping us put this together, such as Luso Financial, a fraternal benefit society. And then the story, this one's a very brief one. Most of them are, some are not. And a picture, of course, of some of the mussels that are now being grown in the Azores, as was done by this study. Here's another one that was done also today. And this one is a little bit more academic. It is about a study that's been done in the Azores, a doctoral student. It was part of her doctoral thesis. That is Inês Vieira Rodrigues. It's an interview with Correio dos Açores, as you can see. And I'm going to scroll kind of fast. As you can see, there's lots of different questions there. There are answers, of course, to each one of the questions. And this is a bit more academic. And we do that because to show you that there's lots of different things going on in the Azores. Sometimes folks get the idea that the Azores is just one constant party, and it may be a bit of that, of course, but it is also a region with problems. It is a region with dilemmas. It is a region with hopes and fears, like anywhere else on the globe. And so this is Novidades, the islands and the diaspora. Most days we have 2 to 3 stories. Some days we are over zealous or over ambitious. And as you can see, for example, on September the 1st, we had 1, 2, 3, I believe, 4 stories. And that doesn't happen a lot. Or on August 31st, we had also quite a few. We had 4 stories as well. But most of the time, we will have 1 to 2, sometimes 3 stories per day from different islands of the Azores, taking in different aspects of the Azores. Not a lot of them are political. We know that folks just want to keep politics away, but political is then in the aspect of a story that refers to an election in the Azores. We obviously will bring that as well. And we now are partnering up with one organization that we're very, very pleased with, which is an organization there in Portugal that is called Nós, Nos Outros, we and others. And it just takes these wonderful stories. We call them stories from the Azores, lives between oceans. Talks about this lady here who was born in the island of San Miguel 67 years ago. It's wonderful human nature stories, very humanistic stories, stories that sometimes we think only happen in other areas, or stories sometimes of grief, stories sometimes of hope, stories sometimes of obviously triumphs, stories of challenges. everyday stories that happen in the Azores that is being done by this group, Nós Nos Outros. They've done them from different parts of Portugal. They've done an extensive and wonderful job. We have about 30 to 40 stories that we will be bringing to you in the next few weeks as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's a segment called Stories from the Azores, Lives Between Oceans. And then there's, of course, all kinds of different stories about everything from in the Azores, and sometimes one story, such as this one, that we're very proud, and that is that Washington Monthly has ranked Fresno State number 2 in the nation when it comes to colleges for best colleges for your tuition and tax dollars. And so we wanted to bring that out to the community as well, because the reason that we do all of this is because Fresno State believes in the vision mission of our vision and our mission, I should say, of PBBI, the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute at California State University, Fresno. So I'm just scrolling down through here, and you'll see a lot of these different stories, some a bit more human nature, others about some things that have happened in the Azores, others about the smallest island in the Azores joins the papal appeal, which is quite interesting. Car ownership in the Azores, they grew 43%, 43, almost 43.5% to almost 200,000 vehicles in the Azores, an island of 250,000 people. We also have some op-ed pieces. Two of our ongoing op-ed piece writers are Alexandra Mendes, and right here, this one that I'm going to click on, by a well-known op-ed researcher and writer in the Azores, Arnaldo Orique, who lives in the island of Terceira. He's a researcher and an author. And so we bring you these. We also bring op-eds from the newspapers. And why do we bring you these? So we want, of course, part of our vision mission is to bring the Azores in its totality, and for you to know what Azorians think about what's going on in their country, what's going on in their region, in their archipelago, what's going on in the world, and how it affects them as well. So it's called Novidades, the Islands and the Diaspora. And again, if you click on one of these stories, such as this one here, Stories from the Azores, Lives Between Oceans, yours is going to see it. It's going to maybe be a bit different than this one right here. But then at the bottom, which I don't have here, but at the bottom, you will have a bit of information if asking you if you'd like to become a subscriber. All you have to do is put your email, basically. That's the only information we request. And if you do want to become a subscriber, it is free of charge. We do not charge 1 cent for this. It is a free community outreach program. If you do become a subscriber, then in your inbox, in your email, the email that you give us, you will be getting updates when a new story goes on. There will be a title to the story in your inbox. If it's something that interests you, open it. There it is. It's an easy way to get that information. If it's nothing that interests you, obviously, as a story, some stories will be of interest to you, and others may not be, depending on what you like. So we hope that all of you can take advantage of this. We hope that you can pass the word out to your family and friends. We've been growing basically this organically, and that's how we're going to grow. We're not in this for to get any kind of awards or any kind of a payback. We are just doing it again as a free community outreach program in order to reach especially second, third, fourth, and even fifth generation, those who are in the United States, in Canada as well, those who are English speakers and want to have a connection, an ongoing connection, besides the occasional visit once every few years, besides the occasional tremoço and sopas once in a while, have an ongoing connection with the islands of either their birth, if they came very young and no longer read in Portuguese, or the islands of their parents, their grandparents, or their great grandparents. And we have actually in subscribers, almost half of our subscribers are Portuguese, and the folks who have told us that they just been fascinated about the Azores, or they have family or friends who are of a Portuguese background with roots in the Azores, and they would like to know a bit more about these islands. So please take advantage of it. It's called Novidades, the Islands and the Diaspora, a free community outreach program funded in part by the Luso-American Development Foundation. That is flat, and most of our stories, actually just about 90% of our stories, also have funding from the Luso-American Financial, a fraternal benefit society. And once again, these stories are open to others in the community, whether it's an insurance company, whether it's a food processing company, a Portuguese restaurant, whatever it might be. If you are interested in having a sponsorship, then please get a hold of me, and I'll be more than happy to give you that information. Again, we thank FLAT and we thank Luso Financial for being part of this. And as we end this segment, and thanking you for joining us, and hopefully you'll also be another Novidades reader. Last month, we reached almost 28,000 people, which was great and growing organically. We put it out on Facebook, on different groups. I thank all the different groups, I should say, that allow us to put forth this product. And I thank all of you who are also letting your family and friends know about Novidades. That's the way that we've been growing as much as we have, especially in the last 6 to 7 months, is because of word of mouth is still one of the best ways to publicize something. Why the name? Some folks have asked me that, and I've explained it to some folks in an email, but I thought it'd be good to have kind of an explanation. So this, you might want to see this. I'll put it in front of me so all of you can see it. It's called Novidade, publicação para as comunidades portuguesas. This one was, as you saw, from May of 1988. So in the 1980s, when I was young and naive, I'm no longer young, but I'm probably still naive, especially when it comes to the communities. I am naive, as my friends tell me. I still believe in a lot of utopian things that I'm now old enough not to believe in. But in the 1980s, so almost 40 years ago, it actually began 40 years ago. It began in 1985. We started this free publication. It was a newspaper in print, and it was published once a month. It was free, as you can see there. As you can see, it was free. And how did we get it out to the public? Basically, it was put out at different supermarkets, at different Portuguese businesses that existed in Tulare at that time. This is almost 40 years ago. And in Hanford as well, in Lemoore. I think those are the three cities that we concentrated on. And we published quite a few of them, and one there depended on the funds that we were able to get, but most of the time we published anywhere between 800 to 1,000 of these. And then we had them out at the Portuguese masses in the different churches, that had Portuguese services, and that's how it was. It was basically done, as I said, once a month. Number of pages depended anywhere between 20 to 24, sometimes a little bit more, and we published them once a month for quite a few years. Actually, we ended it in 1989. It began in 1985, so so it was about almost a 5 year publication that we did. Here's another one as well, and so it was part of the Central Valley. At that time, it was the only newspaper published in Portuguese in the Central Valley. And it was a way to reach our community with news, essentially, of the community, and also some news from the Azores. Again, it was all in Portuguese. This was, again, 40 years ago. The community was much different than what it is today. And so we wanted to basically continue with this, that started here in the Central Valley in the mid 1980s, and as I said, continued until I believe the end of 1989, maybe even the beginning of 1990. Unfortunately, we don't have the information as I should have. But as my wife told me the other day, and she's so right on it, you were young and all you wanted to do was do things for the Portuguese American community. And it was a utopian idea. This was done at home. This was before computers existed the way they exist today. This was this was basically done with cut and paste, literally at home. It was done originally by myself and my good friend Pedro Valadão Costa, who now lives in Mexico. And then a few other people joined us. My good friend Nazario Borba from Hanford joined us and helped us out as well. And then later on, my good friend Fernando Valadão also joined us. And we continued this project for a few years here in Tulare. It wasn't the first newspaper published in Portuguese in Tulare. We had Lavrador Português, literally translated to the Portuguese farmer, was published here in the beginning of the 20th century. And so just about, about 80 years later, just about, we had another one come through. And this one was a monthly newspaper that we did. So we wanted to continue with that name. And so that is why the name is now Novidades. So we made it a plural. We hope that all of you will visit Novidades. Basically, very simple to go. It's just, you can Google it, Novidades newsletter.news. Or you can just put it on your search engine, Novidades newsletter.news, and it will take you to that. Once again, it's free of charge, and it is part of the Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute, part of Fresno State, part of one of many different things that are ongoing at California State University, Fresno, when it comes to our connections with the Portuguese American community. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. We will actually be with our students doing our classes, but we will be here on Thursday with another presentation, and this one kind of an overview about filamentos. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.